Creating a session in Python with Bottle is fairly simple. I'm going to create first of all a virtual environment on this folder, and you will see that these files appear. If you're using a Mac computer, make sure that you have installed Python 3, and the command will be Python 3 instead of just Python. So in a Mac it will look like that. And once you have downloaded the files, as you can see here, I'm going to start the virtual environment by doing a script \activate. And when that's done, right here we can see that the virtual environment has been started. I'm going to go ahead and create a folder. I will call it app.py, where I'm going to create the different routes from my application. I'm going to demonstrate this using Firefox. I have gone to this tab, that is the storage tab. If you are in a Chrome browser, find the tab that is called Application, and then you will find the cookies right there. As you can see, there are no cookies here at the moment, so you will see what happens when I create the server and I start developing on it. Let's import from Bottle. First of all, we need to install Bottle as well. Once the virtual environment has been set up, we will do pip install Bottle. If we do pip list, we can see that Bottle has been installed. So for now, I don't need this. So let's import from Bottle. We're going to import the get method and the view. If you don't know what I'm doing here, I have a video about it. So you can go and look at the video description for this one to find the link for it. I'm going to create a few comments here. And I'm going to create the server right there. So I will be running on the host, which will be the IP address of this computer. The port, I will run it on 3333. I will set the debug flag to be true, so I get some error notification, and the reloader to be true as well, so the server reloads. Now I'm going to create a very simple route for now, which will be for the index page. I will define a function and return just the letter X. Save, and now I'm going to run the Python app.py. I have an error here because run has not been defined. As you can see, this run is not imported here. Sorry for that, it was not the view I wanted to do, it was the run actually. So save it and run it. The server is running on this IP address and this port. So I will go to that IP address, port 1234 times number 3. Press enter and you should see the letter X. This is what we need in order to enter the system. And where it says cookies here, you can see that there are no cookies at the moment. No data present for selected host. Let's pretend that we create a new route so the user will log in. I'm going to create a get route, and this will point to the login endpoint. Define a function, return login. Let's test this route by pointing to login in the browser. Let's see if that gives something out. It's not doing anything. I will kill the server. For some reason it didn't do anything. And I'm going to restart it by doing Python app.py, as you can see it right here. I don't know why it didn't run, but it doesn't really matter. I will just kill the server and retry it. There is the login up and running now. This is the route that will provide us with a view so the user can log in. I'm going to import view and create the login form. So create a folder called views it must be called views. And right here we'll create a login.html file. In this login file, to keep it really simple, we create a regular form. Don't worry about the action. Do not worry about the method for now. We're going to fill that in a second. And we have an input field. And we're just going to pretend that we need an email in order to log in. And then we will set here a button, and the button will say login. Save, and now the login route should display this page. So instead of just returning login, I'm going to call the view decorator where I use the login page. This login is pointing to the login file. You do not need to do HTML because Butter will know about it automatically. And if we just return without anything, it will call the file automatically. Save it, reload the page, and here is the form. If we click on the login button, we can see that the question mark appears in the address bar, and that's because the login form by default does a get method. So this is a get by default, and you don't need to write anything, not even that, to have the method set up. But we want this to be a post, so we write post there. And once we submit the form, we want to get into the login post route. Nothing will happen if we hit this route. This variable will never be passed to the route because we are not using the name attribute. As soon as you set a name for this input field, let's pretend that we call it user email. This name will be the name of the variable, and the value of it will be whatever is passed in the value attribute. You don't really need to write value equals double quotes, because if you leave it empty, it's an embedded value. But I will do it like that, so you know that it is there. Save the file, reload. Click on login, and this takes us to the login post route. But we don't have it, and that's why we get this error message saying that the method is not allowed because we did not create it. So let's go ahead. Let's create a post route. To do so, we will need to import also post. And I'm going to create a post route here. At post, that's called a decorator. And this will be the login route. What you see here, post /login, is what you see here, /login post. That's how it gets connected. In this post, define a function, and let's get this variable called user email from the input field. We create the user email variable. You can call this anything you want. It has nothing to do with the form, but I want to keep synergy between the naming convention. So this user email is going to be retrieved from the request. When we click on the login button, that will be the request. So we need to also import request. So right here we say that the email comes from the request, it comes from the forms dictionary, and via the get function, we are going to get the variable that we call user email. So I will put it in there. Let's return the user email for now, just to test it. Let's put an email, x@x.com. Click on login, and in the post route, we got the x@x.com. So this is what we want to use for the session. And as you can see, we still have no cookies in here, no data present. And that's what we're trying to set. We would like to set this user email in the session so we can later on refer to it. So what we do is we need to set that via the response, because this server, all of it here is the server, is going to set a cookie in this client. And the way that's done is via the response object. So we're going to say that the response, and we set a cookie. And the cookie has two attributes. For now, it can have multiple attributes. But the easiest way to do it is that we want to set a variable with a value. You can call this whatever you want, but I will call it user_email because that's what we have been using. And this will be the email that we extracted from the user. Save it. Let's go back to the login page and now try to click on login. When we have done that, automatically in this cookie, we can see that the user email has the value x@x.com, and that's what we wanted. So now that that's working, let me when I move it like that, you can see it right here. We're going to create a new page. We're going to call it admin. And when we successfully log in, we're going to go to the admin page. So let's create a new route. Why not right in here? Let's go by alphabetic order. So A comes before L. So I will do a get here. Admin. Define a function. And we are going to have also here view. So we're going to call the view, the file called admin.html that we don't have at the moment, and we're just going to return. Since we don't have the admin file, we're going to create it, admin.html, and now just a plain HTML where we will display hi. For now, I will just do some X's there, so we are going to fill it up in a second. When the user successfully logs in, we're not validating here. We should do that, but this is not part of the video. So instead of returning the email, we're going to redirect the user to the admin page. To do a redirect, we need to import redirect. Just so you see it there, it says redirect. And now we are going to redirect the user towards the admin page. Let's do a login again. The email is x.com, login, and we are in the admin page. Here's where we need to retrieve the email address from the cookie, from the session that we have set up here. To retrieve it, what we do in the admin route, right here, we are going to say that the user email equals, and when the user sends the request, the cookie will be automatically sent with it. So we say from the request, let's get underscore cookie, and we are going to get the cookie. There's only one quick cookie with multiple values, with each value with a variable that points to it. So we're going to fetch the user email, user underscore email. And now, if we want to put this email in the view right here, we're going to create a dictionary where we place the keyword argument called user email, and the value of it will be the user email that we took from the cookie. So this is a variable I created again. Copy the name of the variable. I will go to the admin page, and in the hi, I will just inject the user email. Save and save. Let's try to log in again, this time just so you see it happening with a@a.com. Login, and here we have the hi a@a.com, which is coming from this cookie.